In a grand empire where power and intrigue dominated the corridors of the throne, an unexpected young Jewish woman became the queen who would change the course of history. No, Esther didn't ascend to the throne simply because of her beauty or luck. She was strategically placed to save an entire people from brutal annihilation. But do you truly know the real story behind this woman? There are details many overlook, moments of courage and faith that go far beyond appearances. Esther wasn't a helpless princess waiting for rescue. She was the protagonist of one of the most astonishing twists of fate ever recorded. Want to know how an orphan became a heroine immortalized for generations? Get ready, because this story goes far deeper than you can imagine. Esther was just an ordinary young woman living among her exiled people when the unexpected happened. She was chosen to be the new queen of Persia. A monumental leap for someone with no influence, no title, and on top of that, an orphan. It's fascinating to think about how God uses improbable situations to unfold his greater plans. Esther wasn't just outwardly beautiful, but possessed character and wisdom that undoubtedly made her the king's favorite. However, her selection was not a mere coincidence, but part of a larger purpose that was quietly unfolding. Imagine the turnaround in her life. From a modest existence among the Jews to a position of prestige and power. But the question is, for what purpose? Esther wasn't placed on the throne to enjoy luxury and privilege, but to fulfill a crucial role in her people's destiny. This kind of story reminds us how often we are positioned in situations we don't immediately understand, only to later realize they are pivotal in a much bigger plan. Like Esther, each of us has a purpose to fulfill, even if it seems distant at the moment. It's fascinating to note that, despite her youth, Esther demonstrated maturity and courage at decisive moments. Even in a hostile and uncertain environment, she kept her identity a secret until the right moment. This prompts us to reflect. How often do we need wisdom to act with caution and wait for the opportune time to take a stand? Esther's life teaches us that patience and discernment are virtues we should all strive for in our journey. Esther's story unfolds during a time of great complexity for the exiled Jews. During the reign of Xerxes Mwendasaurus, from 486 to 465 BCE, the Persian Empire was one of the greatest powers of its time, ruling over a vast territory that included diverse cultures and peoples. It's in this multicultural setting that Esther emerges as a central figure. The capital, Susa, where the story takes place, was a hub of political decisions and palace conspiracies, where every move, every word, could alter the course of history. Imagine the tension of living in such an environment. The Jews, scattered throughout the empire, were vulnerable and subject to persecution. Their exile was a constant reminder that they were far from their promised land and without the protection of the temple. This fragile context made them easy targets for the whims and conspiracies of influential figures at court, like Haman himself. Even in this hostile environment, Esther managed to keep her identity hidden until the right moment arrived. Her story shows us that sometimes we must wait silently as God works behind the scenes, preparing the perfect moment to act. Esther, even while living in a foreign culture surrounded by Persian customs, never lost her roots or her faith. Her courage to remain steadfast and respect Jewish laws, even without revealing them, demonstrates a deep commitment to her people. This teaches us the importance of maintaining our essence in environments that challenge our beliefs and values. Like Esther, we often face adverse circumstances that test our faith, but it is in these moments that we find opportunities to show who we truly are. After Queen Vashti was deposed, the Persian Empire was left without a queen. King Xerxes issued a decree seeking a new wife from among the young women of the kingdom. Picture the scene, a competition among girls from various parts of the empire, each trying to impress the king with the finest clothes, jewels, and perfumes. In this context, Esther stood out, but not just because of her physical beauty. There was something about her spirit, something that made her unique in the king's eyes. Her grace and humility touched Xerxes' heart, and he crowned her queen, an outcome no one would have expected for this young orphan. However, Esther was not content to be merely an ornament in the court. She quickly earned the king's trust and respect. Her serene yet strong character set her apart from others. Esther was not chosen by chance or solely for her beauty. She was called for a greater purpose. Her rise to the throne was an essential step for her to be in a position to protect the Jewish people when the critical moment arrived. God, in His wisdom, often places the right people in the right places long before the problem arises. So, it was with Esther. She was prepared and positioned for something she had yet to realize. Despite her newfound power, Esther remained humble. She didn't use her position for personal gain, but understood that she was there as an instrument of protection and blessing for her people. This is a powerful example of how we should view our achievements and positions, not as possessions, but as opportunities to exercise positive influence according to God's plans. Esther's ascension serves as a living reminder that God's paths may seem unexpected but are always perfect. When Haman, the ambitious Persian prime minister, felt his authority challenged by Mordecai's refusal to bow to him, his anger was immense. To Haman, this was an outrage that could only be resolved with extreme vengeance. He persuaded King Xerxes to issue a decree condemning all Jews in the empire to death, planning the complete annihilation of a people. This decree, backed by the king's authority, left the Jewish community in despair. However, Mordecai knew there was hope. His cousin Esther, now queen, was in a strategic position. Even as queen, Esther did not have permission to approach the king without being summoned, a violation punishable by death. Overcoming her fear of taking action, Mordecai encouraged her with powerful words. "Who knows if you have not come to your royal position for such a time as this?" Esther then called for a 3-day fast among the Jews, and strengthened by faith and courage, decided to intervene. Risking her life, she presented herself to the king and strategically invited Xerxes and Haman to a banquet. At the opportune moment, she revealed her Jewish identity and exposed Haman's evil plan. This act not only saved her people, but also led to the downfall of her enemy, demonstrating that wisdom and faith can overcome even the greatest challenges. To reverse the situation, Esther and Mordecai needed one more intervention. Mordecai was appointed as the new prime minister, and the king, under their guidance, issued a new decree. This edict authorized the Jews to defend themselves against any attack. The balance of power shifted. What had once been despair and uncertainty turned into strength and hope. On the day marked for the massacre, the Jews united and defeated their enemies, securing their survival. This victory was so significant that it became the basis for the establishment of the Feast of Purim, a celebration of deliverance that continues to this day. The final outcome shows how the courage and faith of one person can transform the destiny of an entire nation. Esther's story is not just about survival, but about standing with wisdom and confidence at the right moment. With Haman's fall and the new decree, the Jews were not only saved, but given the opportunity to rewrite their destiny. From a situation of imminent death arose a celebration of life and victory. The Feast of Purim, celebrated annually, commemorates this great reversal and God's providence in the face of adversity. Throughout Esther's story, we see how one person, even in adverse circumstances, can be a powerful instrument for accomplishing something extraordinary. And what about you? Are you ready to be an agent of change in your life and in the lives of those around you? Why not start by reflecting on the opportunities God has placed in your path, even if they seem small or insignificant? Like Esther, don't let fear or complacency hold you back. Courage, faith, and wisdom are attributes you can cultivate too, and with them, any challenge can be turned into an opportunity for victory. So, what are you waiting for? How about diving deeper into God's Word and seeking the understanding needed to face the Hamans of today? Share your reflections in the comments and leave your testimony. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate notifications to continue learning and growing in faith. Why not do it now? Don't miss the chance to be inspired by more stories like this and to discover the purpose God has prepared for you.